Hi, it's Tammy with the clever people at eXp Realty. Sorry if I was just like stuck on candid camera, but it was like you have insufficient credentials and I did not know what that meant. Okay, so very quickly, going to debunk some myths. Now they're myths because they're truths that I can show you with data because I'm a girl who just loves some data. So let's talk about some things people have been discussing. All right, now I say discussing because sorry, I'm backwards over here. This right here is what people are talking about. Okay, these are the headlines that go out in the news, and then so people start to have feelings about things based upon what they're hearing. So we call this the Consumer Confidence Index report. Okay, so this is over several years, so you can't tell. Actually, let me show you down here. This is 2010 in the far left corner, and then this is today-ish. Okay. So 2010, if you have not heard before, in 2007, real estate had been hot, and then it took like a major dip. In 2008 was real brutal for everyone who owned a home or had to sell a home. Also real estate agents, very sad time. 2009, 2010, all pretty brutal years. So what we see here is in 2010 and 2011, when people would ask people, hey, do you think home prices are going to go down? They were like, yes, we do, because that's all they had known for a couple of years. And it was like they were never going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But then they started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Property values started to slowly creep up again. So what you see is there's more confidence here as the years are going on in 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, all these years, people are starting to say, oh, no, I don't think property values are going to go down anymore. I think we're okay. I think we're in the clear. And so you see a lot of consistency here for several years. Then the pandemic hits. And maybe you remember that we couldn't leave our houses. And if you were trying to buy or sell real estate in the month of March, it was just massive trauma because all of a sudden you couldn't do an appraisal. Like they were like, you can buy a house, go ahead. And they're like, oh, but we won't do an appraisal for you. Oh, okay, don't I have to have an appraisal to get a bank loan? Yes, but we won't give you an appraisal. So I can't get a bank loan. Correct. So I can't buy a home. Technically, so very stressful time for everyone. So basically everybody was like, yes, we think we're going to lose home value prices, or I meant to say home price value. Anyway, English, we think that our homes are going to lose value. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, it's Friday, everybody. Okay, so lots of people raised their hands and that's what they thought. But we know, because we are in the future, Tammy, and in the future, friends, it went nuts in 2020. Actually, we reopened things and property values skyrocketed. So then in 2021, everyone's like, we do not think that property values are going to go down. Some people did, because we started to hear people here say, we're going to see this bubble burst. This can't continue for the rest of the year. Well, it did. So then you see a little drop down. People are like, nah, looks like we're good. Looks like we're still going to gain value. And then people were like, no. We're going to start to see all these foreclosures come to the marketplace and we're going to see this bubble burst. And then it didn't. And so people were like, oh, well, actually, we think we're still going to be making a lot of money on our houses and we don't think property values are going down. And then they said, yes, but at the end of 2022, mortgage rates are going to go nuts and nobody is going to buy a home, period. That was in January. And everyone was like, it's the housing crisis. Pause, by the way. I said housing crisis, not recession. A housing crisis and a recession are not the same thing, and you keep hearing people talk about a recession. A housing crisis and a recession can coexist, and that did happen in 2008. However, many times in U.S. history, when there has been a recession, home prices have actually increased. We'll come back to that, maybe today, maybe another time. I haven't decided how I feel about sharing that yet. Okay, so let's go back to some of these myths. Foreclosures. In case you didn't know, in case you still think it's coming, let me show you something. So I mentioned 08, 09, 2010, very traumatic. Look at all these foreclosures, a lot, okay? And then we start to see the market stabilize. We don't see as many. This is in 2019. Now I'm gonna blow this bad boy up because I need to show you something here. 2019, we had just under 300,000 foreclosures. Now, why does this matter? 2019 was a banner year in real estate. I remember December was approaching and I'm like, I just don't want this year to end. My sellers have been so happy, my buyers are happy, and everyone is like, this cannot continue. And I was sad to see 2019 end. And then we hit 2020. Things went off the rails, a variety of different reasons why that happened, and it went off the rails in lots of different ways. But what we saw then, right here, this is 2020 and this is 2021, not a lot of foreclosures. Now, I want to show two things to you. This is today, what we're projecting for this year, 2023. It's still a little blurry. It says 186,000, okay? Our last kind of normal year, we had just under 300,000. This year, we're projecting under 200,000. Even other healthy years, 17, 18, 19, they had 428,000, 362,000, 296,000. So we are still projecting fewer foreclosures than all of those normal years. So this idea that we're going to see all these foreclosures and everyone's going to go belly up, a myth, okay? And we're not seeing that happen. Now, I do want to talk about headlines though, because the headline I keep reading is like, but we have double the foreclosures we've had in the last couple of years. Nada. And let's explain why. And that is my very official response. My very intelligent nada is my answer. Okay, here is why. Everything is in context. You might have remembered the word moratorium, okay? So through 2020 and 2021, there was a moratorium on foreclosures, which meant for the most part, a bank could not foreclose during this crisis time we were having post-pandemic, okay? So yes, we are indeed maybe double than we were in 2021, but that's because they couldn't foreclose on homes for the most part. So when you can't do it, yes, it looks like you're a lot more, but when you take this year and you track it back to other years, we are actually sitting really pretty and in a very healthy place. Okay, let's talk about something called seasonality. You're so smart, you don't even know, but you know what seasonality is, because how many times have you heard people say, we're going to put our house in the market in spring because that's when everyone sells their home, and then in summer because also we know people with kids that have school schedules to look out for, they're going to buy in the summer, okay? And so that's exactly what you're seeing here, okay? So January, always a little bit quieter, February starting to pick up, and this is also because some places in the nation, it is legitimately cold, brutal, and snowy, and they really can't see homes, so the whole nation contributes to the scale here, okay? So we see as it starts to peak up, March, bam, spring is here, April is really here, May is our peak usually, and then we start to see people take vacations or getting ready to go back to school, so it's still a peak time, but not quite as high as May, and then you kind of see it trickle down throughout the year, Kumbaya is Thanksgiving, and then you have Christmas, Hanukkah, and all these gatherings that take place in December, right? Okay, seasonality. Now, if it has been a minute since middle or high school and you don't remember how a bar graph works, let me show you something cool in your brain to just like wrap your head around this. This is your baseline. Let's call this 0. As long as all the bars are above, that's value increasing. The value doesn't really take a loss until the bars go below this line, okay? So what we see is values do trickle down throughout the year, but it's not necessarily a foregone conclusion that by December we're losing property values. You are lower than you were in May, but you're still appreciating for the year. This is huge to understand. We'll talk about it more with this guy. Okay. This is what we're expecting this year with listings. Okay, so normally, just like we talked about seasonality, January, not a ton of listings, you start to get more and more and more. May, we have a lot of homes on the market, and then it starts to go down a little bit till we get to the end of the year. Everybody's celebrating, feeling holiday, and not wanting to be disrupted, so fewer homes. Now, we've been a little slow this year. We're going to come back to this in a second, but we've been slow to kind of approach. We'll talk about all the reasons why, but right now the projection is we're about to blow it out of the water with even more homes for sale, and we're starting to see that tick up even more so right now, like real time. Okay, so why does all of this matter? I'm hearing a lot of people say, well, Tammy, I really think property values are going down. I've seen a lot of price reductions on Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, all these places. So let's talk about something. Let's say we're best friends and I listed my home in May, peak season. And let's say honestly, you're not trying to throw any shade, but your home's nicer than mine. Carpet colors are better, paint colors are better. You got this cool screen porch that I don't even have. But I listed my home and roughly they should be about the same value. But again, solid flex, your home's is better, okay? I list my home, $225. I get in a bidding war for $255. They don't do an appraisal. They don't ask for anything on the repair request addendum. Like it is just, you know, champagne wishes and caviar dreams. So you're ready to list your home right now. You know that it's not the busiest time of the year, but you had a lot of stuff going on, things you wanted to do in the home, wanted to go on vacation, didn't want to be bothered by all this. And so you want to list your home now. Now, is it technically arguably worth the $255 I got? Yeah, that's fair market value. But there's two prices in every market. There's fair market value and what buyers are paying. Now, sometimes buyers are paying fair market value. Sometimes they're paying above that, AKA a bidding war. Sometimes they're paying below that. That would be in a buyer's market. Maybe we're taking a loss to the marketplace, okay? So one, you have to figure out which one you're in. Now, I mentioned that this time of year, we are hovering in August. We start to generally see the values go down a little bit here. Doesn't mean that a seller is losing value, but a lot of sellers. And this is what I call the I am human experience, okay? Again, I'm your friend. I got super lucky. You know that your home's nicer than mine. So if I sold for $255, even if your agent's like, yeah, you could appraise for that, but really buyers are paying $245 right now. You're like, whatever. I'm listing my home for $255. My home is nicer than hers. You list your home for $255. Buyers say are not currently paying the bidding war price. They want to pay what they perceive as traditionally fair market value in our marketplace. So buyers are like, that house is cool, but it feels like it's overpriced compared to the other homes, what they've been selling for recently. So other sellers are pricing their homes at fair market value. You priced your home as if you had already been in a bidding war. Buyers look at it, they say it's priced too much, and they let it sit on the market until there's a reduction and a reduction and a reduction. Then they try to offer under list price, or they ask for closing costs. Sometimes they ask for both, ask for a lot of repair requests. That is what happens when the seller tries to price as if there was a bidding war. So what we're seeing now is what we call merit-based market offers, meaning that buyers want to make offers based upon fair market value. Now, there's still bidding wars. We're listing homes every single week, getting top dollar prices. Buyers are still agreeing to pay appraisal gaps, meaning a home doesn't appraise for as much as the buyer's offering, and they're still offering to pay that. Now, not the same percentage as they were, both in frequency and the amount as maybe they were in May, but we're still seeing that occur. But what you're seeing more with price reductions is that sellers are trying to already act as if there's been a bidding war and pricing higher, and buyers are just saying, wait, we're not there right now. But we're not seeing a loss in market values now. If you're a seller, you're like, what does that mean? Does that mean that I wait until next spring or next summer to sell my home? No, we are still seeing a cooling in the market. However, this is still a very strong time to sell. Here's why. Go back to this little guy. This guy. I'm struggling right now. What is wrong with me? I just need my hand to work. I'm trying to point with this finger. Go back to this guy. I just realized I didn't have like a cursor once I started this. So this guy right here. Okay. So the blue lines, again, normally values go down. We're this red line, everything we're seeing is going up, okay? So we're still seeing that home values are increasing, and we are still getting more listings hit the market. And the reason property values are still expected to appreciate, again, not like in May, but still increase and be a really good value for sellers, is because a lot of buyers need homes. They have needed homes. And finally, people are breaking free from the wrong headlines, and they're starting to understand things like there's more than one way to skin a cat. Buyers are not necessarily thinking you just go pre-approved for a loan and you put all this money down and you buy down your PMI and you pay a 7% interest rate. No. Discount points, buying down interest rates, 2-1 buy downs, ARM products. If you don't know what any of these things mean, you're not supposed to. Your agent and your mortgage lender do, and they can look at your financial profile and tell you what things you qualify for, what they look like, and how to get the payments you always dreamed of and the house you always dreamed of, and keep your finances well in order. Also for sellers, there's ways to sell and buy now that didn't even exist 6 months ago. You didn't really have the same freedom then as you do now. So all of that being said, it's still a really good time to sell. It's a really good time to buy. But if you believe the myths and the headlines, you will believe otherwise and miss opportunities in our current marketplace to do something, because the headlines are designed to terrify, not clarify. They want to be sensational, and they are just looking for a buzz. It's not very fun just to educate people and watch them get to do the things they want to do. That's kind of boring. So they're looking for clickbait material. So if you've had questions about the real estate market, especially a hyper local market, because your county matters and it compares differently to another county in another area, then I would love to chat with you more. Okay, happy Friday. Have a great weekend, and bye.